Hi, this is Rich. Welcome back. I just finished week 109 taking weight loss drugs. I took this week's shot just a few moments ago. So far, so I am irritated. And I'll say good, but I'm irritated. And you'll find out why in just a minute. I figured I'll talk about something fun first. I went to the farmer's market. They now have corn. It's the middle of July, and the place that I go to for corn, they have great corn, and they'll have it all the way through almost into Halloween. Yeah, it'll get kind of slim pickings. They don't just keep coming with corn and give you bad corn. So at some point in October, they'll say this is their last batch, and even though there's stuff in the field, they won't sell it to people. They will sell it to, they'll do whatever else they do with corn with the sweet corn. I know there's feed corn too, but the sweet corn that we get, I don't know what they do with it, but they don't give it to us anymore because they work really hard. It's interesting if you go to a farmer's market, make sure you're talking to the folks, make sure you're finding out what they do, how they do it. Listen to what they say, because you'll tell the difference between different people at the farmers market. Some people will only give you the best stuff, and some people will give you a big bucket of stuff, and at the very bottom it's all stuff that was from last week's farmers market, and it's ready to go bad. I've had the vendors that I go to, one time she told me that she had stuff left over from last week, and she sold it to me for a discount. She says, I'm not selling this at full price or anything, but I didn't want to throw it away, and I took it. I ate it that day, so it was good enough for me. But typically, the farmers market I go to, it's on a Saturday morning. They're picking it the night before, and I was at the corn guy today. I was so excited to see them that they were there, and he said that this was their first farmers market because the one in a smaller suburb was canceled because we had smoke, because there's big fires on the border of Minnesota, northern Minnesota and Canada, and it just filled the air down in the Twin Cities area, and they canceled the farmers market. He says, but I had picked all the corn. He says, and this is not that corn. He says, I'm not just pawning off really old corn on you. I picked this last night. But yeah, so they'll tell you the truth if you ask them, and if they don't, the next time don't go to that vendor. So I've been to other vendors before I focused in on the ones that I go to, and I feel like they kind of pulled a fast one on me. So you have to be a little careful, and don't just assume that if you get a bad result that's always the case. It's like everything else. There's always really reputable people and people that are less so, and so you want to make sure that you're kind of keeping track who's treating you right and who isn't. So anyway, enough of that. I got corn. I'm very excited. I can't wait to eat it for the first time. I don't know if first corn is usually good or great or okay. I'll have to see, and then I'll look it up. I'm not going to look it up first because it'll sway how I feel about it. Anyhow, so I started off by saying I'm angry, I'm mad, I'm irritated. I'm not angry or mad, I'm irritated. I was on track to have a really, really, really decent week, and as you know, last week I had lost 147 pounds total, and I'm really going towards the 150 mark, right? That's going to be one of my next major milestones, and it's taking forever, and I have talked about that. I go 1 pound a week or 2 pounds a week or no pounds per week, and it just seems like it's taking weeks and weeks and weeks to get to that 150 mark. And last night or yesterday, I weigh myself every day, and I don't get too concerned one way or the other, but I just make sure that I'm not going crazy eating something or stuff like that. So yesterday I was pretty flat. I was maybe a pound up, and I thought, okay, so I have to be really good today. I'm a pound up, and I want to be closer to the 150 mark. So that would be 4 pounds. That's probably too much to be able to lose, but you never know. Maybe a good time in the bathroom, and you have a successful trip to the bathroom, and there you go. I don't know, but so anyway, last night I got home from work, and I thought, I'm gonna make a homemade pico. So at my office, they have a really nice restaurant, cafeteria style restaurant, and lots of fresh vegetables, lots of healthy foods. And one of the things that they always add to any of their meat stations is something to put on top of the meat. So it might be gravy, it might be sauce, but they also have like salsa or pico or whatever, you know. And I call pico, and I could be using the wrong term, but essentially a bunch of vegetables just chopped up, and it's like a salsa, but it's not as there's not a lot of juice to it. It's all just cut up tomatoes and corn and all, you know, blah blah blah. Anyway, I should probably have looked up what pico was before I start talking about it. But what I did was I took all my vegetables. So I took you know, an entire beet, you know, it's about a cup or more. The kohlrabi, the onions. I got a pack of radishes, you know, in the store pack, and I used 2 cups of radishes and broccoli. I had the end of my broccoli. I get a big bag of broccoli florets from Costco, and I had some of that left, so I used that, and that was probably a couple of cups. Cauliflower, my banana peppers, which I love. I cannot get enough of the banana peppers, and I put a ton of the banana peppers in. Let's see what else. I should look real quick and see what else. Oh, tomatoes. I think I said tomatoes. And then I put it in my food processor and blended it all up, and not just minced it, just into big chunks, you know. So I just used the top feature to get it into really small pieces, but not mush, right? And then I added some Rotel on top of that. Then I added some fat-free barbecue sauce that I use when I have chicken or whatever, and that's I think it's 10 grams or 10 calories per tablespoon, and I added 4 or 5 tablespoons of that. So and then I added Frank's Red Hot sauce, and then I added my Tony Roma. It's a Creole seasoning. I want to say Tony Roma, and I know that's not right. I can see it from here. I can't quite read it. Anyways, it's a Creole seasoning, and I put that in, and I added some salt and pepper and to taste, and then I mixed it all up, and I let it sit for a little bit, and then I thought, well, I'm going to have a little bit, and then I'm going to put it on top of something, and I was trying to decide, am I going to put it on top of sweet potato, or am I going to make some chicken and put it on top of that? But I'm trying to figure out how to give me something that's tasty, but I'm not going to eat too much. And so I figured, well, I'm just going to have a little bit of this. So I took a spoonful. I thought, this is really good. And so I took a bowl, and I just ate the bowl without anything else, just that, right? And you know, and then pretty soon I was like, well, I'm just going to have this. And I thought, how much is this? So I figured out all the calories, and the calories were about 550 calories for the entire thing. And it was one of those big popcorn bowls that I'm using. You know, it's a huge bowl. It must have weighed 5 or 6 pounds of stuff. It was heavy, right? And so then I thought, well, I'm just gonna have some more. And pretty soon I just said, I'm tired of getting up and down. I'm just gonna take the bowl. And I thought, you know, I could eat this whole thing. This is 500 calories. I'm going to eat this whole thing. I'm going to be so full I can't stand it, and then I'm going to lose weight. This is going to be awesome. And granted, it has not as much protein as I typically try to hit, but who cares? I'll lose weight. I'll feel full. It'll be great. And so I was stuffed, right? And I ate the whole thing. I have to admit, I ate the whole thing. I thought, oh golly, this is. First of all, it's going to be hard to get it out of me, right? Because it's just a ton of fiber, ton of everything. It's very dense, very dense. And like I said, I think it was 5 or 6 pounds. Like I should have weighed it. I regret not weighing it. When I make it again, and I will make it again. When I make it again, I'm gonna weigh it. Anyhow, so then I hop on the scale this morning, and I gained 3 pounds. And I thought, this is not fair. And so I was looking, thinking, did I add something up wrong? Did I not count? And it's like, no, I'm about 500, maybe 550 calories. And so I used Gemini. I didn't use Claude this time. I used Gemini because it has a nice feature where it seems to put stuff in nicer for me when I'm trying to format things. Um, and I said, what, is it possible? And it said, well, yeah, because you ate 5 pounds of food, and it estimated smaller than that. I think it was it said it was like 4 to 5 pounds of food, but I think it was heavier than that. And you said you ate 4 to 5 pounds, and it's probably depending on the amount of salt, and it's like, well, my Creole seasoning is like the first 7 ingredients on that is salt, and then I added salt, and I'm not a big salt eater. I don't typically add a lot of salt. I add garlic and onion powder and Italian seasoning to food. I don't typically add a lot of salt to food. I'm not a big salt guy, but I had a lot of salt in there, and maybe that was one of the reasons why it tasted so good, because it was delicious. But and then it said, yeah, but it's probably in you somewhere, and it said, and it went on to say it's highly unlikely that you added 3 pounds of fat. That you probably you would have, most likely it's in your system, it's going through the digestion tract, and it will leave, and you will not have gained the weight. But it was like, that is so unfair. It's so unfair. I couldn't believe it, but I thought it was hysterical when it says it's very unlikely that you added a bunch of fat to you could not have added a bunch of fat based on what you're describing, but it's in your digestion tract someplace, and it's true because it hasn't come out yet. So, but come on, it was like I'm trying to hit a target here. Work with me. It's like, what the heck? I don't get it. Anyway, you didn't come here to hear me complain. Well, maybe you did, but you came here to hear some good jokes. So I'm actually getting pretty old. I don't know if I think I look younger. Some people say I look younger than I actually am, but I'm a grandpa type age person, right? All my buddies are grandpas. Every one of them are grandpas. And I thought, I'm getting up there. I'm getting old, and I thought, I want to be more hip, so I thought maybe I should get a tattoo. And I instead of getting a tramp stamp, I'll get a Gramp stamp, right? And a Gramp stamp is it could be barbed wire, or it could be a skull, or more likely my home address. So all that for that. Oh, and then I like I said, I'm getting old, and I went into I told you I went on vacation a couple of weeks ago, and I saw an antique store, and I refused to go in because I knew they wouldn't let me leave. No. Oh, two terrible jokes that I heard online yesterday. Oh, God. And that guy was 95 telling it. So I'm probably not old enough to tell those jokes, but I don't care. I thought they were funny, and he was funny. So anyway, how did I do this week? Well, like I said, I am irritated as heck. I would use saltier language, but I'm worried that would cause me to gain more weight. I gained 3 pounds as of right this moment. Hopefully tonight I'll be 3 pounds lighter. I don't know. But I gained 3 pounds. That brings me back to 144 pounds lost. I will see you next week.